Here on BBC Two in half an hour, Monty Python. And that's after we rummage through the trousers and skirt through the week's news from last Saturday night's Armistice.
Though fighting's exciting, discover discussion, swap guns for tongue, and charm for concussion. Envelop your pose in one massive kiss and come to the Saturday night Armistice.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Most of you are too kind. Welcome to the last Saturday night Armistice of the present series. And I don't know if you notice anything different about this week's show. That's right, it's presented by a three-headed man. That's because after lengthy negotiations with Peter Bainham and David Schneider, I've merged with them to create probably the biggest television presenter in Britain. And it's not just us. This week, Britain went takeover mad, gobbling up building societies and privatised utilities like they were just feeble bunches of parsley. The latest takeover bid happened in sport, where the games of golf and rugby merged to create the most popular sport in the world, rugby golf. Meanwhile, Michael Heseltine, in charge of getting the government's message across, did so by hanging around in television studios, disrupting the reporting of any bad news.
Britain's biggest building society, the Halifax, says house prices in the United Kingdom are continuing to fall.
Still with the BBC, the corporation came under fresh criticism for a perceived drop in standards of taste and, more shockingly, language.
With the weather in Britain hotter than the Mediterranean right now and little wind around to shift polluting farts, the groups claim the government is breaking the law by failing to tell people of the farts.
And finally, following the release of pictures purporting to show an autopsy on crashed aliens in 1947, fresh footage came to light of what was claimed to be a Santa Claus who came down over the Nevada desert in 1952. The shots clearly show an aged Laplander with red markings over the hair and genitals and traces of a titanium-based foil unknown to science thought to be used for wrapping presents.
Shall we take our jacket off? Good idea.
OK, let's move to a vote then. All those in favour of removing the jacket, raise your hands.
Definitely.
That's unanimous then. OK, off with the jacket. Anyway, let's put that surprisingly arousing image to one side now and move on to a favourite one of mine. Imagine every member of the House of Commons suddenly died of a terrifying disease. Well, there's a similar atmosphere in Parliament just now because all the MPs have gone on holiday. So what exactly do our legislators get up to in the summer until November? Well, for most MPs, the summer simply means 5 months hanging around in shopping centres with nothing to do. And there have been lots of complaints from Tory MPs this week about the new change of boundaries that have left many Conservatives looking for safe seats and running around Britain like dazzled warthogs. So, to address the problem, the government has suggested a new set of constituencies to come into effect in 1996. This is how it will work. Scotland will now have one MP, and it will be known as the constituency for Scotland Central. Wales will have one MP and will be renamed England West. There will be two constituencies in the north of England. The first one is North-North, and then there's North-South, which will include Devon and Cornwall. And all of this will just leave Chelsea, which will have 625 acres.
the great thing about it is that Norman Lamont still won't have a constituency.
Now, the summer is the time when visitors flock to Britain to see the castle where Jim Callaghan fought the Battle of Agincourt. Or to visit the capital's new waxwork tramp museum. This summer, the Saturday Night Armistice decided to see what tourists are willing to pay for. For a day, we opened an exhibition at London's Trocadero Centre, Brown World. A visual spectacle in a 10-foot square room devoted entirely to the colour brown. We charged the public £4 for a 10-minute tour, and our hidden cameras established whether we were the mad fools.
Tja, jeder, hallo Sekai, Yokoso, willkommen zur braunen Welt. Welcome to Brown World.
Brown is the most exciting colour of them all. Ian Fleming, creator of James Bond.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am your tour guide, Kevin, and this is Tom, my assistant. Now, I'd like to start the tour with a very simple question, and the question is this. What is brown? You, for example, madam, your shoes are brown. You, sir, your hair is brown. So, come with me, if you will, into my world, into my brown world.
I don't see how you can make an exhibition just about brown, to be perfectly honest.
The famous American singer-songwriter who has been thrilling audiences across the world for the past 27 years. James Brown, the grandfather of soul, the funky president, call him what you will. Underneath we have Lord George Brown, Chancellor of the Exchequer in the 1960s, and Gordon Brown, who is a senior member of the Labour Party and who, if the Labour ever get into power, will be the next Chancellor of the Exchequer. And I'm beginning to wonder if there perhaps isn't a Brown conspiracy to take over world finances. Just a little joke there, but quite a coincidence. I'm sure you'll agree. By the Middle Ages, brown became a fashionable colour, although it was still very scarce. Alchemists, like this gentleman here, often spent many years of their lives trying to transform mundane colours into the exotic and subtle tone of brown.
Was it worth £4?
No.
No.
Yes, £3.
£3
For an exhibition.
4 times the size of this one.
Yes.
On brown.
Interesting fact, in the cosmetic industry, brown is a very popular choice, particularly for use around the eyes. Although when sold in a brown bottle, it's not that popular.
I think it must be interesting to have a bloom for green and orange as well.
Let's, just for a second, imagine what the world would be like without brown.
That's Brown World there, and you can enjoy more of that scandal later. This week, the government announced trials for a new toll scheme on Britain's motorways, so that drivers have to pay good money if they want to go to Doncaster. But there are plans to impose tolls elsewhere, including Britain's flight paths, which will involve each plane having to stop at an inflatable toll booth balloon and hand over £1 before continuing the flight.
I don't know if you knew, but Bath City Council have come up with a brilliant road scheme, apparently. So they've got a new scheme designed by Evel Knievel, right? Which is ramps on all the main roads into the city, which you drive at 130 miles an hour and go flying over the top.
Is there a special crawler lane for HGVs on that?
I mean, seriously, I mean, the trouble is, isn't it, that with roads is how do you satisfy conservationists and the road lobby and Shire Tories and motorists and badgers and thin, stinking, white dreadlock men up trees with a dog hanging from a piece of string?
You can't do it.
No, you can. Oh. There is a solution. It's a car that has its own portable road. This stunning vehicle has its own fully functional stretch of A road. There it goes, wrapped around it, that it takes with it everywhere it goes. It leaves the countryside relatively unruined, and it does come with its own set of bollards and small furry animals that you can run over if you want.
Oh, lots of stuff. Let's pop back to Brown World to see how the duped Germans and children are getting on in the world's only exhibition devoted to a hue.
And don't it make my brown eyes blue?
We have an example of modern video art. This was lent to the Brown World by the Tate Gallery in Liverpool and was created by the young video artist Darren Hughes. And it's called simply Brown Screen. And, of course, we do like visitors to the Brown World to make their own brown.
Maybe go for a khaki or a beige. Careful, you don't want it to turn out sepia.
There you go. Have a round of applause for that man's brown.
Peter, the miniaturised area.
Indeed. Alas, it's our last trip this series to the miniaturised area. And hence our last chance to use the Saturday Night Armistice worldwide bank of security cameras to go sniffing. What's that miniature, Mr. Tony Blair? On balance, you feel it's highly irresponsible to pry on those in public life? You cocky little egg. Now, who's been in the news this week?
The Queen Mother.
The Queen Mother?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, of course.
95th birthday.
95th birthday this week, wasn't it? Right,
Yeah.
let's call her up.
God bless her.
I just checked. I got a little icon on the on the computer screen. Now here we are. It's her lovely birthday. Look at that. One's going to go forever. Look at her there. She's going
Who are
back
those
in
other
with the
ladies?
Queen, up on the balcony. Now watch what happens on the security camera. She goes inside.
Yeah.
They've got a little surprise worked out for her.
Well, a little
You're
birthday
gonna
treat.
Like this. Now, just take into account how old that woman is.
We'd have to watch it for hours.
Thanks, Peter. Now then, there's been a resurgence in Pope John Paul lately. Initially, there were doubts about his health when cracks began to appear in his legs. But to prove his critics' folly idiots, the Pope has just brought out his own pop video featuring a potpourri of scenes from his most exciting masses and encyclicals. So we're going to see the video now, and you'll notice it's been aimed at a more youthful market than you might have expected from a pensioner who wears white socks.
Mysteria Gaudi. Mysteria Gaudi. In nome del Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Marriage. Mysteria Gaudi. Happy. Mysteria Gaudi.
Let's go back to Brown World, an exhibition that proves the world isn't simply black and white.
Now, we have some examples of the flags of the world and what they would look like if they were brown.
Union Jack of the United Kingdom. The Stars and Stripes of America. And this is France's flag, and not Italy's, as a few people think they can be.
It is a brown world.
It was really brown.
It was really brown.
But wait, what's that I hear? Is it the sound of jackboots? Yes, it is. So let's have a look at the darker side of brown. For in the 1930s, a brown cloud swept across Europe. The name of the cloud? the Nazis. The Nazis dragged the name of Brown into the mud by wearing these brown shirts. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was just the beginning. Eva Braun went out with Hitler, and as history testifies, their short marriage ended in tragedy. And finally, Cedric Brown, while we do not in any way suggest Cedric Brown, the chief executive of British Gas, is as evil as the Nazis, his recent pay increases have certainly been controversial. But it doesn't have to be like that, as we join the living world of the Brownies.
These Brownie uniforms have recently been redesigned by television's Jeff Banks from The Clothes Show on BBC One. You can see they were the traditional brown, but now they're this yellow.
Nevertheless, the future of Brown is in their hands, and I, for one, am glad that it's safe. In September, we intend to open up a new ride called Brown Mountain, which will be the fastest and newest ride in Trocadero, and that's opening on September the 15th.
You can't, because there's no ride.
There's no ride.
There's no ride.
If we take people for a ride, that's probably better. Now, in case you're wondering about the implications of taking money from members of the public, I can assure you we made about £212 each. Not bad, not bad. And now it's time to have my regular romp with a cloth plaything. Please welcome our little fabric friend, the soul of a fool trapped in the body of a tiny toy, Mr. Tony Blair! Mr. Tony Blair! You've got enormous! Oh, my God! What's that, Mr. Tony... Hang on a minute. What's that, Mr. Tony Blair? Oh, don't shout, all right? It's just a glandular problem. Oh, Mr. Tony Blair, you've become the most frightening thing that's ever been filmed. Have you been taking something?
Look, Amanda, look at this.
What's that?
It's his urine sample. and apparently, like, the testosterone's right off the limb.
What's that? You know a song about testosterone? Come on, you don't get out of it that lightly. You're in deep trouble over this, you big swollen beanbag of evil. What's that? No, you can't sit on my desk like all the other weeks. You'll smash the glass and tear your bottom. Come on, I'm going to move you. Peter, come over here. This is safe. What's he say? He's not going to eat you. You're not going to eat Mr. Peter Bainham, are you, Mr. Tony Blair? Don't listen to what he says. He's just teasing.
No, I'm sorry. He's looking at me and his eyes are saying toy food.
No. They're saying tofu. I can hear him. It's all right. Come on. Right.
Come on, you take his legs there.
Oh, yeah. God, we'll take his arm.
Oh, God, it's soaking.
Right. Okay. I think we're going to have to roll it.
Yeah, let's roll it.
Be careful. Okay.
Okay.
Don't watch it Stop it!
Are you all right?
No, I'm not all right.
Are you okay?
I'm not. I'm being killed by a massive gonk.
Right. Just be professional.
Yeah.
All
What do
right?
you mean? I cannot be professional under this twat.
Look, this happened to Scylla. She coped. It'll be fine.
I can hear him, and he's very happy, apparently.
Yeah, I know why as well.
Earlier this week, I decided to go out and play some hilarious practical jokes on celebrities. And here's my favourite one, where I gave comedian Bob Monkhouse the fright of his life. Let's see what happens when I go up and give the laughter guzzler a surprise he'll never forget. Oh, dear. That took 4 weeks to set up. Oh, my God. Well, don't you think that was funny? Right, more news now. And this week, Health Secretary Stephen Dorrell, or Durrell, I don't know how he bloody wants it pronounced, I'm not his mother. Anyway, the Health Secretary announced a war on bureaucracy in the NHS. So we've decided to take a closer look at one overworked group of people who have to make heart-rending bureaucratic decisions in hospitals. Junior hospital managers. Our cameras followed a group of junior hospital managers at St Gerald's and looked at how they let off steam under all the pressure of a heavy day's in tray.
In this hospital, there are about 112 junior hospital managers. And, you know, it's hard work, but, you know, we have a laugh, you know, to cope with the stress.
Yeah, I suppose our most important job is working out monthly expenditure in the hospital, but, you know, it can be fun. I mean, last year, just by putting all together all your expensive hip operations, in April-May period and September-October period, we managed to make the overall graph of the year's expenditure look like an enormous pair of women's tits. I mean, you put that up on the wall and people take notice.
That's right. That's right. And the second week of April and the second week in October were nipple weeks.
What these lads are learning here will stay with them for the rest of their lives. I mean, wherever they are. For example, last year I was on a plane and there was an emergency. This man arrested had a heart attack at 30,000 feet. And I was able to come forward, assess the situation, and then explain to the cabin crew and the pilot, with the aid of some very primitive graphs and pie charts, that there really weren't enough resources on the plane to help him, and that really he should be moved somewhere else.
You know, it's very important, this project. It's a breast cancer screening project, which we've been running since the beginning of January. We've been screening the breasts so far of women between the ages of 45 and 50 because they're at the highest risk at the moment of breast cancer.
I'm sorry.
But I said something funny.
You keep saying the word breast.
Of course I keep saying the word breast. Is there any chance that you can control yourselves, do you think? Yes, we intend to screen the breasts of women... The breasts of...
My particular system, if I've got to close down wards, is to do it in such a way that from the outside of the building, at night, the closed wards spell the word arse. I never knew you could do that. How'd you do the R then? Yeah. Well, I had to close down the canteen, didn't I?
Now, it's time to hunt the old woman! The piece of television that's breathed new life into the aged. We release an old woman in front of other people's TV cameras, and you have to spot her. At stake is our first prize, the Saturday Night Armistice hors d'oeuvre tree. And this week's hors d'oeuvres are Parma ham and pimentos. On now to this week's sighting, and to end the series, it's possibly been the most difficult one yet. Only one person spotted her. Here he is, David Williams! First of all, David, where are you from?
I'm from Cardiff.
From Cardiff, OK. And I believe it was a rather Welsh-related programme that you appeared in.
Yes, it was Pobl Cwm, Welsh language soap opera.
Welsh language soap opera. Let's see if we can spot her then. Let's have a look.
Dwi'n mynd I fod yn iawn.
No.
Mae un peth sai yn dyfarn.
Did right.
Well,
is it clear when it comes up?
Can't see the screen, actually.
Right, we'll enjoy the rest of
Oh, there she goes.
See us again. Okay, that's too bad. Thank you.
Oh, she speaks! She speaks! She speaks. Well done. There you are. So, David, you win the hors d'oeuvre tree, right? That's yours to take. You can take your pimentos back to Cardiff with you. They're safe. Or you can gamble on tonight's special prize. So what's it going to be?
I'll gamble.
Yes! Okay. You're a brave man, because for the big prize, you have 10 seconds to find the old woman who's in the audience tonight, all right? Now, turn around, turn away. There, okay? That's her there. And David, you now have 10 seconds to hunt the old woman! A weekend trip with Jean to Palma to visit the hams. And David, it's better than that. It's not just the hams you get there. You get all sorts of hors d'oeuvres. There's prosciutto, mortadella. It's an hors d'oeuvre wonderland. What do you think of that?
Great.
Right, OK. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, a big, big send-off for David and the old woman. OK, it is the end of the show, the end of the series, so we thought we'd go out with a bang, or rather a tribute to a bang. There's been a lot of arguments over how exactly we should celebrate VJ Day, perhaps with a series of sombre and reflective ceremonies, or, as we've decided, a big disco and finger buffet. We've got Twiglets and Pringles, so come on down for a drink. The entertainment will be provided by Dave John B's Disco and Dancers. And, appropriately enough, there's a karaoke. It's fully programmed with all your favourites. I Will Survive.
You can't do this.
Boom Bang a Bang. Flash Dance.
No.
Sunrise by Rolf Harris.
Stop, turn it off, turn it off, stop. Look, you cannot do this. I mean, it's tasteless.
What, have you got a request?
No.
What?
Flashbang Wallop, what a picture.
No, look, Peter, shut up. It's tasteless. We're not going to. It's repugnant.
No, we're being ironic. We're being ironically repugnant. It's all right.
No, you can't do it. It's offensive.
No, I mean, we've got dips. It's just a bit of fun.
Look, we can't laugh at just any old thing. Where are you going? Listen to me. We can't laugh at any old thing. We have to, I don't know, we have to set the tone for other... What are you doing?
I've just lowered a massive weight above your head. I'm going to drop it if you don't shut up.
What do you mean?
Well, this argument has gone on long enough, and now I just thought it was time to bring it to an end.
But you'll kill me.
Well, I'm not saying I'm going to drop it. I'm just saying I might if you don't shut up.
Stop this.
Why?
Stop this nonsense.
Why?
Because, I mean, firstly, you're being unfair to David, right, which is a violent and horrible and brutal way to settle an argument.
Yes.
And secondly...
My God, what's that?
That is my own massive weight. Now, if you continue to threaten David, I will use this to remove one of your dimensions, right? That dimension known as height.
Hold it. 3, 2, 1, go! Yes, fantastic.
What was that?
I've now developed my own weight, and I've just tested it successfully on the miniaturised area. Fantastic.
What's that in your hand?
This is a remote control. See, technology has moved on in the last couple of minutes, and so I now no longer need to hold a rope for my weight. Thanks.
What are you doing?
Lovely. You'll notice it's also a smart weight. It's got its own camera, so it can.
Well, I think we can live with this. The situation has changed since the start of the show, but overall, I think it's generally a lot safer, actually.
But we can't move.
No, that is one drawback, yes, I admit. But at least we know where we stand, literally. So, let's start the party. So, any of you in the audience who are free to move, please come down and join us. We've got nibbles and music. As I say, we've got all your favourites. We've got Flash by Queen, Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue, and the theme from Thunderball. So we're going to be here well into the night, and possibly for at least a few more years. So until we see you again, good night. And remember, in life, always feel your emotions. Goodbye.